Episode 3. While they ate, their conversation revolved around their next step. "How about we try the Lightning Guild?" suggested Leo, his tone more hopeful than convinced. "I don't know, Leo. Their trial is too physical." "I don't think we're ready for that," Ren replied, lost in thought. Suddenly, a voice from the next table pulled them out of their conversation. "Did you hear about the new guild? They just opened. It's only 4 people, and they're looking for adapters," a man said. "Too bad I'm already in a guild," exclaimed a woman who was with him. "Me too," added the other person. Ren and Leo exchanged glances. A new guild. A new opportunity. The frustration began to dissipate, replaced by a glimmer of hope. They were talking about the creation of a new guild called the Aurora, which was accepting its first members. "I heard the founders call themselves the Cardinals," one commented. "It seems like it's only 4 people, but they must be very strong to open their own guild." Ren and Leo decided to go to the new guild's base to see if they were recruiting. After eating, they set off. Upon arriving at the new guild base, they realized it was a small office in a building in a remote part of the city, and they were surprised that this was the base of a guild. Entering the premises, Ren and Leo immediately encountered one of its founders. He was a man with an imposing presence and a kind gaze. He introduced himself as Adrian, the North Cardinal, the leader of the Cardinals. In a calm and confident voice, he explained that their guild, the Aurora, had been formed to help people and restore hope to the city. Adrian, a Class A Earth-type adapter, is capable of controlling the earth and rocks at will. Bruno, another Class A adapter, is the East Cardinal. He is very energetic and is always looking for new adventures. His power is wind control. Bruno is kind and helpful, but fierce in battle. Diana is the West Cardinal. She is a strong, kind, and determined woman with great leadership ability. Her power is control over water. She can breathe underwater, making her perfect for aquatic missions. And finally, we have the South Cardinal, Caesar. He is a risk-taker, a Class A adapter whose power is control over fire. Caesar can create giant flames to attack his enemies, or even create fire shields for defense. He can also use fire to increase his speed and agility. Caesar relies on direct, powerful attacks and quickly loses his composure. Adrian welcomed them with a warm but tired smile. "Welcome. You've heard of us, I suppose. The Aurora, a name full of hope, right?" His gaze swept over Ren and Leo, assessing them with penetrating intelligence. "We are few, it's true. 4 to be exact. The Cardinals. And we are looking for people with potential. People who look beyond the ruins and the despair." Bruno, with an energy that contrasted with the office's somber atmosphere, approached with a broad smile. "That's right. More hands for the job are always welcome. How are your abilities? Any trick up your sleeve that could blow our minds, literally." A small whirlwind of dirt spun around him as he spoke, demonstrating his power. Diana, with serene composure, observed them with penetrating eyes. "We aren't looking for brute force without purpose. We need people with determination, with the will to make a difference. This world needs hope. Do you have it?" A few drops of water condensed in the air around her, dancing briefly before disappearing. Caesar remained in the background, watching them in silence with a palpable intensity. His hands were tucked into his jacket pockets, but a latent energy was perceived around him, like the silent heat of a fire about to erupt. Bruno took the floor, his voice firm yet friendly. "We know that the dawn and the lightning have their own processes. Strict, to put it mildly. We are different. We look for spirit, the willingness to learn and grow. Tell us about yourselves. What brings you here?" Ren took a step forward, feeling the gaze of the 4 Cardinals on him. We've been surviving on our own for the last 5 years," he began, his voice steady despite the slight tension. "We saw what happened with the meteor, what it did to people. And we developed abilities." He looked at Leo briefly, seeking his support. "We want to do more than just survive. We want to help. And we heard that you were offering that opportunity." Leo nodded firmly. What he said. "We've seen a lot of bad things. And we want to be part of something good." Adrian nodded slowly, his gaze thoughtful. "Abilities. Everyone has them now, in a way. But how you use them, that's what matters. What can you do?" Ren hesitated for an instant, then decided to show them something. He closed his eyes and concentrated, recalling the brute strength of the bear he copied years ago. His muscles tensed under his clothes, and the old wood of the floor creaked slightly beneath his feet. He opened his eyes, and there was a fierce determination in them. He lifted a bulky old table that was in the corner of the room with astonishing ease, holding it aloft with seemingly minimal effort. Bruno whistled, impressed. "Wow, that's strength. Not bad, kid." Then, Leo stepped forward. He concentrated, extending a hand toward a wilted potted plant by the window. Slowly, the plant's leaves began to straighten, regaining a vibrant green color. Even a small flower that seemed dead began to open its petals. Diana smiled slightly. Interesting, a connection with life itself. Adrian continued, "We don't promise it will be easy. This path will be full of dangers. But if you are willing to learn to fight and to believe in something greater than yourselves, then perhaps, just perhaps, you have a place in the Aurora." Bruno smiled enthusiastically. "That's what I'm talking about. What do you say, guys? Ready to join the fun? I mean, the fight for a better future." Diana offered them a serious but encouraging look. "The decision is yours. But know that here you will find a purpose, and a family." Caesar nodded silently, his intense gaze conveying an unbreakable determination. Ren and Leo looked at each other, a spark of hope igniting in their eyes. A shared smile sealed their decision. "We're staying," Ren said firmly, his voice resonating with a newfound determination. Leo nodded enthusiastically. "Yeah, we want to help." A wave of relief and acceptance swept through the small office. Adrian managed a genuine smile, his tired eyes showing a renewed spark of hope. "I'm glad to hear that. Welcome to the Aurora." Bruno let out a cheerful laugh and slapped both of them on the shoulder, nearly making them stumble. "Excellent. 2 new recruits. This calls for a celebration, even if our pantry isn't the most epic in the world." Diana nodded with maternal warmth. "Yes. Tonight we'll have dinner together. As a family." Even Caesar nodded slightly, a small, almost imperceptible smile curving his lips. Shortly after, everyone gathered in a small dining room adjacent to the office. The table, though simple, was set with care. There was a steaming stew, comforting, freshly baked bread, and an improvised salad with vegetables that Diana said it's delicious. As they shared the meal, the initial tension gradually dissipated. Adrian told them more about the Aurora, his vision of a future where people with abilities could coexist and protect those without them. Bruno shared anecdotes from his first adventures with his powers, filling the room with laughter. Diana spoke calmly about the importance of empathy and understanding in this chaotic new world. Caesar, though short on words, occasionally intervened with insightful and direct observations. Ren and Leo listened intently, feeling for the first time in a long time part of something bigger than themselves. The warmth of the food, the camaraderie of the group, and the sense of having a tangible purpose filled a void that the hard survival of the past few years had left in their hearts. At the end of dinner, Adrian raised his glass. "To the Aurora," he said with a meaningful glance at the new members. "To the Aurora." Bruno and Diana responded in unison, with enthusiasm. Caesar raised his glass in silence. Ren and Leo smiled and clinked their glasses with the others. "To the Aurora," they said together. They felt that a new chapter of their lives had just begun in that small, humble dining room, in the heart of devastated Imperia. The uncertainty of the future still persisted, but now, they didn't face it alone. They had the Aurora, and they had the Cardinals. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, in the area that suffered more from anarchy than from the effects of the Resplendence, in one of the few standing buildings, a room barely grazed the light. The only illumination came from a window, but it was a weak, dying light that struggled to scratch the deep shadows covering the room. There, a figure remained hidden, a vague but imposing and threatening silhouette sitting behind a wooden desk. The gloom concealed their face and features, but their presence filled the space, projecting an aura of power and mystery. An ancient telephone, an obsolete model that surprisingly still functioned amid the chaos, was their only link to the outside world. Through this device, this unknown being governed and manipulated from the shadows, their voice was the only part of them the world could know. This person made a call. The voice that emanated, distorted and cold, cut through the oppressive silence. "You have 2 days to finish the job, or you won't see the light of the next day." The threat hung in the air even after the call was abruptly cut off, without waiting for a response to the ultimatum. The figure in the shadows remained motionless for an instant, the tension palpable in the air. Then, with a quick and decisive movement, they picked up another phone and dialed a short number. A submissive voice answered on the other end of the line. "I want the leaders of the Moon faction in my office. Today. I don't care how you do it. Get them here." The order was sharp, leaving no room for reply. The call ended with the same abruptness with which it began. In the depths of the room, the figure slowly leaned back in their chair. The shadows, until now static, seemed to come alive, dancing around them like obedient specters. The calm and the gloom vanished, replaced by a palpable tension. Patience had run out. The city's clock marked time slipping through the fingers of this being. There is no more room for negotiation. The Moon faction, one of the largest and most dangerous criminal organizations, has shown weakness, and that cannot be forgiven. The figure in the shadows has decided it is time to act, and their cold, calculated fury now dominates the air. The night in Olympus City, already under a cloak of danger and chaos, is predicted to be even longer and deadlier.